Hey everyone, welcome back here to Weather on the Go. My name is Hunter. On this Wednesday, August the 13th, 2025, we're going to be talking about your temperatures and the precipitation that you can expect out your door across southern Canada, the United States, and also look at the tropical weather update in this video forecast. So make sure if you do enjoy these straightforward, accurate, life-saving weather forecasts, make sure you subscribe to my channel here. We do weather forecasts pretty much every single day and twice a day. Obviously today we didn't because I had some technical issues, but we're going to be doing that in the future. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, and share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. Today is National Middle Child's Day, so if you are a middle child like me, well, I guess we're just celebrating National Middle Child's Day. Let's look at our temperature anomalies today. Was a warm one out across the western United States. Temperatures were a good 20 degrees above normal. In contrast, we're a little bit below normal there in the east. And looking at our temperatures, it was pretty warm out across portions of the west with 90s, triple digits, even some record heat down here in Nevada and Arizona, more record heat over into Maine, but kind of mostly in the eastern U.S. We saw cooler temperatures and, more importantly, especially into the upper Midwest, lower humidity. Why do I know that? Because I was mowing lawns earlier today and it wasn't as humid. So looking at temperatures, tomorrow morning, we're going to be going into the 50s across Wisconsin, into the upper peninsula of Michigan, middle 40s, really? Wow, that's pretty crazy for August. Into the 70s across the deep south and the eastern seaboard, even some record warm lows. And then here we go tomorrow afternoon. The heat out west will start to propagate further to the east. Into the plains we go, into the 90s tomorrow, and even triple digits. And then into the Midwest we go with the heat on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're going to see a lot of heat out there. Heat index readings could be over 105 across areas into the Midwest and southward to the southern plains, lower Mississippi Valley, especially for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, we are tracking some severe weather. We have scattered severe thunderstorms possible in South Dakota and northern Nebraska there in yellow. In dark green, we have isolated threats for severe weather, especially there across the high plains, but we also are watching the I-95 corridor, Boston, Providence, Hartford, New York City, Trenton, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. You want me to go on and on? Well, there's too many big cities out there. So we're going to be looking at that threat today. You can see 2% chance of tornadoes in green across southern South Dakota into northern Nebraska. And then once we go into tomorrow on Thursday, August 14th, more scattered severe weather from eastern North Dakota into northwestern Minnesota with a threat for more tornadoes and destructive hail this time into those areas of eastern portions of North Dakota, northwestern Minnesota. So if you have a car that is not put in a garage or under a carport, well, you run the risk of potentially getting some hail damage to your vehicle, as we could be seeing potentially up to baseball size hail tomorrow in those areas. Central United States here this evening, we're watching for storms firing up already across western South Dakota. These will move eastward and southeastward at times into northern Nebraska overnight, posing a risk again for winds over 60 miles per hour, quarter-size hail, and an isolated tornado threat. And then as we go through the morning hours on Thursday, that will dwindle as it pushes further to the east. And then going through the day on Thursday, we're just going to see those isolated to scattered storms all across the U.S. and more severe weather popping up, mainly during the evening hours up here from eastern North Dakota into northwestern Minnesota. It's going to be a later day event, more so into the evening, so around sunset, and then thereafter a couple storm cells popping up. Into the eastern United States, we do have some thunderstorms roaming the landscape, including parts of the I-95 corridor. We were just talking about Boston, Hartford, New York City, Trenton, Philly, down into the Baltimore area, Washington, D.C., Roanoke. Yes, millions of people are in fact impacted as we go through this evening, and that will continue into the overnight, although we lose the instability, so those storms will decrease in coverage and intensity, and we'll be left with partly cloudy skies as we start the day on Thursday. Going through the day on Thursday, we're going to be popping up more of those pulse-type thunderstorms, and when I say pulse-type storms, they're the storms that pop up, right? They pulse up as we go into the afternoon with the heat of the day, and once we lose that daytime heating and or the instability, whatever you want to call it, that is when we lose the coverage and intensity of those storms, and that will be after sunset on Thursday. In the west, we have thunderstorms here too, so it's very active across the U.S., and you can see that here this evening. We got more of those storms as we lose the daytime heating, much like anywhere else. We lose the storm coverage, and then as we go into Thursday afternoon, guess what? We'll do it all over again across the Four Corners region, parts of Nevada and Wyoming, seeing some scattered storms. And I want to caution you this, not everybody will be seeing storms out here, so don't tell me if you're in Arizona, well, you said thunderstorms. Well, it's scattered, folks. It doesn't mean everybody is going to see a storm out there. Now, looking here at the precipitation, taking you through 7 a.m. on Friday, August 15th, there will be some organized precipitation in the form of severe weather up here into the upper Midwest and northern plains, including South Dakota, Minnesota, western Wisconsin, and perhaps northwestern Iowa. Otherwise, scattered pulse type storms. They pulse up in the afternoon with the heat of the day, and then they start to decrease in intensity and coverage after the sun sets. That's the theme there in the east. And then monsoonal flow at times across the Four Corners region. A lot of us will remain dry, but there could be some storms going through Friday morning. Friday, August 15th, isolated severe weather across South Dakota, Minnesota, and northwestern Iowa. And there's going to be quite a bit of instability building there as we go into Friday. Look at the charcoal color here. That's extreme levels of storm energy, over 5,000 joules per kilogram. We go into Saturday, we see the charcoal color come back. We go into Sunday, we see it again. And that means more storm complexes will be moving through the flow across portions of the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin straight through the weekend there, Friday through Sunday, and that is the corridor. Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, especially the northern side of the Badger State, that's where we could be seeing a couple of inches of rain, in some areas over 3 inches. So if this comes in a short amount of time, then you can imagine flash flooding would be a concern. Now, moving into next week with the long-range forecast, that ridge that's out west, well, guess what? It's not going anywhere. It's going to be right smack dab in the middle of the Four Corners region, and that means extreme heat will continue for the Rockies, although there will be some times where the heat moves further east in toward the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, and even Tennessee Valley next week. We're talking Monday, August 18th through Friday, August 22nd. Precipitation going to be up and over top of that ridge. That's where the active storm track has been in southern Canada, and that's where it will be as we go into next week. Again, between Monday, August 18th and Friday, August 22nd. And some of the pulses of energy will be moving down toward the upper Midwest, Great Lakes region, and toward the Northeast. Very dry in the south central United States next week, that's for sure. And to the north, again, storm complexes. Yes, we're talking about the same areas, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. More storm complexes next week will complement some of that heat, and that actually could lead to more damaging winds, large hail, tornadoes, and flash flooding risk. And you can see similar areas here, maybe a touch further north next week than we're seeing now, but nonetheless, we're seeing areas in the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan likely seeing some of that, and that could extend into the Northeast, where the south central U.S. is quite a bit drier. Now let's turn over to your tropical weather update. Yes, this is Tropical Storm Erin that everybody has been talking about, and it looks pretty healthy out here into the main development region of the Atlantic Basin, and you can see the National Hurricane Center still dubs this as a tropical storm, and you can see there is an area of interest off to the west as well, into the areas west of the Yucatan that has a 10% chance of development. We'll keep an eye on that in the coming days, but mainly the focus is on Erin with an E. Maximum sustained winds 45 miles an hour. Movement is due west at 17 miles per hour. Rapid intensification starts on Saturday as it moves from a Cat 1 hurricane to a Cat 3 or 4 just to the north of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Again, not really impacting directly any landmass for any landfalls, but there could be some rip current risks, that is for sure. So let's look here at the ensemble guidance. You can see that system here this evening into the central main development region of the Atlantic. It's going to continue to move westward, again, north of the Leeward Islands, north of Puerto Rico, north of the Dominican Republic, and east of the Bahamas as we go into the weekend. And then notice a lot of these curve it out to sea with still some members trending it further west. The majority, though, cuts it between the Bermuda Island there and the Bahamas. So that is the European ensemble guidance. Here's the GFS ensemble guidance. Nonetheless, it's less members, but you can still see the general theme here. It's going to miss a lot of the land masses here, again, cutting between Bermuda Island and down here into the Bahamas in between those areas. And rapid intensification is likely, right? The thermodynamic parameter cyberspace with these very warm ocean temperatures in the southwest Atlantic basin is ripe for the rapid intensification of this system as we go through the next several days, especially this weekend. If any indirect impacts are known, it will be for the swelling of the waves and the rip current rough surf risk here to the north of Puerto Rico, especially for Saturday, Sunday, north of the Dominican Republic as we go into Sunday, Monday, and then east of the Bahamas toward Bermuda as we go into the middle portion of next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, going up into the 20th of August. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on that into the long range. That is for sure. And thank you all for watching, folks. If you did take anything away from this video informative wise, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you found it detailed, helpful for you, life-saving. Make sure to also subscribe to the channel. We'll pretty much have daily weather forecast breakdowns here on the channel. Like the video if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. Thank you all for watching. Again, apologize for a video that was not released earlier today. Technical issues do happen, so we are living in a world with technology, and technology doesn't always work in our favor. So thank you all for watching. Thanks for watching this evening's forecast. Thanks for the support, everybody, and have a wonderful and safe rest of your Wednesday out there.